The book of Revelation reveals one of the most enigmatic symbols of the end time, the mark of the beast. In Revelation 13 verse 16 to 17, we see the imposition of this mark, without which no one can buy or sell. This mark, according to the prophecy, will be a sign of total submission to the Antichrist system. What does this really mean for believers? Is humanity rapidly heading towards this reality? In times of tribulation, maintaining faith in Jesus will be essential to resisting this imposition. The temptations and pressures will be immense. The mark of the beast represents much more than just a physical symbol. It is a sign of total surrender, the evil system that will dominate the world at the end of time. The Bible clearly warns us that those who accept this mark will be renouncing the glory promised by God. However, this prophecy leads us to reflect on the nature of spiritual submission. How many, without realizing it, are already submitting to systems that distance them from faith, forgiveness, and the divine promise? This reflection is crucial for believers who wish to remain firm during the tribulation. Many believe that this mark will be literal, perhaps a chip, a barcode, or some advanced technology. However, the true meaning may go beyond the physical, penetrating the essence of human loyalty. The mark of the beast directly challenges faith in Jesus, asking for conformity to the Antichrist system in exchange for survival in the world. The promise of eternal glory, however, is for those who refuse this mark, even if it means facing tribulation. The question is, are we spiritually prepared for this dilemma? The imposition of the mark of the beast is a test of loyalty. Those who refuse to accept it will be standing against a system that controls commerce, the economy, and even daily life. For many, it will be a choice between physical survival and spiritual salvation. The Bible teaches us that those who remain faithful to God's promise will be rewarded with eternal glory. However, in a world heading towards its end, resisting the pressure may be one of the greatest challenges believers will face. This prophecy also makes us question how prepared we are to resist the influence of the Antichrist. The apocalypse reveals that the end of the world will be marked by a battle between good and evil, and the mark of the beast will be one of the main tools of control during this tribulation. The hope, however, resides in faith in Jesus, who promises us protection and glory, even when the world around us is falling apart. We must remain vigilant and spiritually strengthened. The transition to digital payment systems has accelerated in recent years. With digital wallets, cryptocurrencies, and the gradual elimination of physical money, we are seeing the world economy transforming before our eyes. But what few realize is how this transition may be preparing the stage for the economic control prophesied in Revelation. At the end of the world, the promise of financial ease and security may become a trap that ensnares those who, unknowingly, submit to a greater system of control. Revelation warns us that without the mark of the beast, no one will be able to buy or sell. At first glance, this may seem distant or even fantastical, but with the growth of digital payment systems, control over transactions is becoming increasingly centralized. Banks and governments are increasingly integrated into a global digital economic system. Could this evolution, driven by the promise of convenience and security, be leading us to a reality where financial freedom will be in the hands of a few? Digital technology has brought many benefits, but it has also raised questions about control and privacy. By eliminating physical money, we are creating a system where all transactions can be monitored, tracked, and controlled. The promise of efficiency and security hides the potential for totalitarian control, where those who oppose the system may be economically excluded. This is the kind of scenario that Revelation describes, where financial tribulation may be used as a form of submission to the Antichrist system. The faith and hope of believers will be tested in ways that perhaps have never been before. Economic control, associated with digital technology, may make life extremely difficult for those who refuse to submit to the mark of the beast. However, the glory promised by Jesus is reserved for those who remain firm in faith, even in the face of economic and social pressure. In a world increasingly controlled by digital systems, are we ready to resist and maintain our loyalty to God? As more people adopt these technologies, the global economy becomes increasingly connected and centralized. Promise of convenience and quick access to money may seem tempting, but it also brings the danger of losing control over our own finances. Revelation teaches us that those who trust in God's promise and do not bow to the Antichrist system will be rewarded. However, this path will be full of tribulation, and economic control will be one of the enemy's main weapons. The use of biometric technologies is becoming more and more common in our daily lives. With facial recognition, fingerprints, and iris scanning, we are rapidly moving towards a world where physical and digital identity are deeply interconnected. But what does this mean in the context of Revelation and the prophecies about the end of the world? The Bible speaks of a global system that will exert control over all people, and biometrics may be the link that connects individual identity, the Antichrist's control system. Biometrics, presented as a solution for security and convenience, may seem harmless at first glance. However, its widespread use allows for continuous tracking and monitoring of people in an unprecedented way. Every face scan, every fingerprint stored in a database brings us closer to a system where privacy is practically non-existent. In Revelation, we see this reality described as a time of tribulation, where control will be imposed on the population, and forgiveness will be denied to those who refuse to submit. The promise of security that comes with biometrics hides a frightening potential for control. Digital identification, facilitated by biometrics, can be used to create a global monitoring system where every individual is tracked and categorized. In times of tribulation, where the end of the world seems imminent, this technology can easily be used to identify and persecute those who oppose the Antichrist system. For believers, the promise of glory will only come if they resist the temptation to conform to this control. The use of biometrics also raises questions about how faith in Jesus will be tested in times of increasing surveillance. Revelation warns us of the danger of submitting to systems that promise protection in exchange for our spiritual freedom. Those who choose to resist these systems may face exclusion, tribulation, and even persecution. However, hope and the promise of salvation will remain for those who choose faith above all else, even when control over their lives seems inescapable. As biometrics becomes more widespread, the world moves closer to a reality where personal identity is controlled by central authorities. This control, however, may only be the beginning of an even greater system, where submission will be required and rebellion will be punished. For believers, faith in God and the promise of eternal glory are the only anchors that can sustain them during these times of trial. It is vital that they remain vigilant, discerning the signs, and preparing for the spiritual challenges that lie ahead. With biometrics paving the way for unprecedented control, the next logical step is the use of artificial intelligence (AI) to manage and oversee this vast global system. AI, with its potential to control large populations in a centralized manner, may become one of the most powerful tools of the Antichrist. Artificial intelligence (AI) is already revolutionizing the world, and its advances promise to change even more how we live. However, as this technology advances, questions also arise about how it can be used dangerously in global control. Revelation warns us of a system that will require total submission, and AI could very well be the perfect tool for the Antichrist to manage large populations centrally. The promise of efficiency and technological progress hides the threat of total control over people's minds and lives. AI has the potential to monitor and manipulate information on an unprecedented scale. It can analyze vast amounts of data in seconds, predict behaviors, and even influence decisions. In times of tribulation, when the end of the world seems imminent, This technology could be used to reinforce the Antichrist's agenda, ensuring that those who oppose the system quickly identified and neutralized. The promise of glory for the faithful will be in maintaining their faith in Jesus, even in the face of overwhelming technological pressure. The danger of AI is not only in its ability to process information, but in its ability to shape narratives and manipulate perceptions. In a world controlled by the Antichrist system, AI can be used to spread disinformation, distorting the truth and confusing the masses. Revelation speaks of powerful deceptions that will lead many to perdition, and artificial intelligence may be one of the main tools in this process. The promise of security and efficiency offered by AI is tempting, but it can also lead to the loss of freedom and faith. Many see AI as a neutral force, a tool that can be used for both good and evil. However, in the wrong hands, it can become a powerful weapon of control and coercion. During the tribulation, those who keep their unwavering faith in Jesus will be called to resist this technology. The glory promised to them will not come without challenges. Maintaining hope and trusting in God's promises will be vital to resisting this technological system. As AI continues to develop, it is crucial that believers remain vigilant. The Bible teaches us that the Antichrist will use every tool at his disposal to deceive and control the world. AI, with its ability to infiltrate every aspect of life, may be one of these tools. For believers, promise of eternal glory will be what sustains them. But resisting AI control will require firm faith and constant vigilance. They will need to discern between what is true and what is manipulated by technology. The modern world is surrounded by cameras, smart devices, and tracking systems that collect data every moment. In an apocalyptic context, this constant monitoring could easily be used to impose the mark of the beast and identify those who refuse to submit to the Antichrist system. Revelation warns us of a future where everyone will be under surveillance, and those who choose to follow faith in Jesus will be targets of relentless persecution. Tribulation will be marked by absolute control over people's lives, with no room for privacy or freedom. The promise of public safety has been the justification for the expansion of global surveillance. But this safety can be a double-edged sword. Every camera, every tracking device is shaping a system where control over the population can be total. Believers' faith will be tested when the system begins to monitor not only behaviors, but also the beliefs and actions of those who challenge the established order. Maintaining hope amid this constant surveillance will be one of the most difficult trials for those who await the promised glory. This surveillance goes far beyond security cameras. Smart devices in our homes, phones that monitor our movements, and even the virtual assistants that surround us, constantly collecting information. Modern technology can track us in real time, allowing any deviation from imposed norms to be immediately detected. In the end times, as described in Revelation, this type of control will be one of the main tools of the Antichrist to ensure that everyone is under his dominion. Financial and social tribulation will be only part of the challenge. Those who choose not to submit to the mark of the beast may face complete exclusion from the global system. Without the mark, they will not be able to buy or sell, and their lives will be constantly monitored for signs of disobedience. The promise of eternal glory will be reserved for those who maintain their loyalty to Jesus. But the cost of that loyalty will be high. Resisting global surveillance and the imposition of the mark will require not only deep faith, but also immense spiritual courage. As the world moves towards a state of constant surveillance, believers must prepare for a time when their actions and decisions will be closely monitored. Revelation teaches us that surveillance will be one of the main instruments of the Antichrist's control. Those who remain firm in their faith must be ready to face the consequences of living outside the system. The glory promised to them will be a reward for their perseverance. But the path to that glory will be full of tribulation. The advancement of microchip implants and wearable technology is shaping the future of personal identification. Small devices implanted under the skin, capable of accessing financial, medical, and security systems, are no longer part of science fiction but a developing reality. As these technologies become more common, the connection to the prophecies of Revelation becomes increasingly evident. Could these implants represent the beginning of the mark of the beast, which will ensure submission to the Antichrist system and total control over the population? These technologies offer a tempting promise of convenience. With a simple wave of the hand, one can open doors, pay for purchases, and access confidential information. However, the ease offered by microchips hides the danger of unprecedented control over people's lives. In Revelation, the mark of the beast is described as a means of absolute control, without which no one can buy or sell. Microchip implants may be the key to this prophesied reality, where faith in Jesus will be tested in an intense way. Tribulation that awaits believers will be marked by the pressure to conform to this technological system. Refusing a microchip implant may mean being excluded from essential services, making survival in the modern world difficult. However, the promise of glory for the faithful remains firm for those who resist this imposition. Forgiveness and hope in Jesus will be the pillars that sustain those who choose to face difficulties instead of submitting to technological control. Wearable technology is also becoming a powerful tool in population control. Smartwatches, bracelets, and other devices can monitor not only people's health, but also their movements, location, and interactions. In times of tribulation, this technology can be used to track and monitor those who refuse to conform to the Antichrist system. The promise of convenience can quickly turn into a digital prison, where the freedom of choice is eliminated in the name of security. The implantation of microchips and the use of wearable technology raise deep questions about how far we are willing to surrender our freedom in exchange for modern conveniences. Revelation warns us that by accepting the mark of the beast, we are submitting to an evil system that aims to control all aspects of human life. For believers, the hope of eternal glory depends on their resistance to these temptations. They will need to maintain unwavering faith amid the growing pressures of a technologically advanced world. In times of increasing technological control, the role of believers has never been more crucial. With the advancement of surveillance, biometrics, and artificial intelligence, faith in Jesus becomes an essential line of defense against submission to the Antichrist system. Revelation warns us of an era of tribulation where those who resist global control will be persecuted. However, for those who keep their faith, the promise of eternal glory remains firm. But the question that many Christians ask themselves is, how to resist in a world that is increasingly surrendering technological control? The role of believers is not only to survive these times of tribulation, but to keep the testimony of faith alive. They are called to discern the enemy's tactics and remain vigilant, even when the world around them submits to the Antichrist system. Faith in Jesus will be tested in ways never seen before, and the forgiveness, hope, and glory promised to the faithful will be the forces that guide them. Every choice made during these times will be a reflection of the spiritual loyalty they carry. Believers must also be a light in the midst of darkness. While technological control aims to stifle freedom and impose the mark of the beast, those who remain firm in their faith and serve as a beacon of hope for others. Revelation teaches us that even in times of tribulation, faith in God can bring strength and resilience. The glory promised by Jesus is reserved for those who do not bow to the pressures of the world. Maintaining faith in a world controlled by technology will not be easy. The temptations of convenience and security will be great, and many may feel pressured to conform. However, Revelation also reminds us that true security can only be found in Jesus. He is the hope that guides us through the tribulation and promises us a glory that transcends any human control. For believers, resisting the pressures of the system will be an act of faith and courage. In addition to resisting, believers also have the role of preparing their communities for the challenges to come. This includes educating others about the dangers of technological control and helping to strengthen the faith of those who may be wavering. The Bible calls us to be vigilant and to protect one another during times of tribulation. The promise of eternal glory is ahead of us, but the path there will require believers to unite in faith and purpose, resisting the Antichrist's system. After everything that has been discussed, have you realized how technology is shaping our future and how this might impact your faith? How are you spiritually preparing for the challenges ahead? Share in the comments how you perceive these signs and what you are doing to strengthen your walk with God. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't waste any more time. Activate notifications to continue learning and preparing for the events to come. Your faith is your greatest protection. Don't forget to strengthen it every day.